Are you a coach, but you are not really getting anywhere? Are you stuck in the same level? Perhaps you are missing something. Perhaps there is something inside of you which needs to be unleashed. And today I have a privilege because on today's podcast I have with me Anna Simpson, and she's helping coaches like you, like me, to find ourselves and also monetize on that what we know and who we really are. This is it, knowing who you really are. So make sure to watch this podcast till the end. Thank you, Anna, for coming for this interview podcast. It's very nice having you. Can you share with us a little bit more about what is it you do, where are you based, maybe what you have achieved in the past, and where is it you would want to go?
Thank you, Vincent. That sounds like 3 questions in one, but I will start in order. So what I do, I do lots of things, but it's all around helping people extract, define, and articulate their genius in a storytelling way, because I am passionate about storytelling, authentically selling through telling genuine stories and connecting with people. I believe that we all, if we were to learn to tell better stories about who we are, what we do, and how we can help, the world would be a better place. And marketing and business building would be much more enjoyable. I'm not saying it would be totally easy, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. But it would be more enjoyable, more fulfilling. I'm all for connection, building relationship, and really helping people see their magnificence in a storytelling way, so they can express who they are. I work with coaches, so historically I've done a lot of work in the speaking capacity. I'm a speaker. I've spoken in front of large crowds, small crowds, mastermind groups. I work in groups like online, because after COVID, lots of things changed. And my husband and I, we run a conscious coaching academy. We had to take a lot of things online, but we are slowly coming back to the live events, which I absolutely love. But I also love the dynamic of, internet, through internet, like the Zoom meetings and group settings. I just spoke with one of my beloved clients from South Korea. I mean, it's fantastic what internet can do. So yes, I'm on a mission to help people, if you were to, if I can put it this way, really equip them with defining and articulating and expressing with power their voice, to promote their businesses, to create more income, to create more impact. And I believe that income always follows impact. And a lot of people struggle with articulating their impact in a way that will make sense to their audience. So that's a little bit about what I do, what I'm passionate about. And I love people. I love speaking. I love inspiring. And I love equipping people to do the same.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. I love that. And why have you decided to go into the storytelling? Because obviously it's some kind of a niche. Like some people, they just, even if they try to build a business, or if they speak on the stage, not everybody uses storytelling. So why do you think it's so important, the storytelling?
Yes, because that's a good question. Thank you, Vincent. When I moved to America, being a young woman, it was my dream for a start. I'm an author of 2 books. I forgot to mention that. So I had a dream to come to America when I was a little girl. And I was born and grew up in abject poverty. Like, just to give you an idea, because there are different levels of poverty. Our family didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. We didn't have a bathroom, a toilet inside the house. I was embarrassed by how I looked, because jeans were a luxury in our household. We didn't have TV. We didn't have any technology. Maybe it's a good thing now, but when you're a child growing up and you feel excluded from conversations about popular TV shows or movies, it really gets to you. So amongst all of that, I came up with an idea that, well, actually, I had that inner voice seeking its higher expression, if you will, that the world is a much bigger place and there is more to life than what my current at the time circumstances could offer. So I came up with that crazy idea to move to America. I had no idea how it's going to happen, but I didn't fixate on that. I just allowed that vision to carry me through. And I described that journey of what it took me to come to America on my own at the age of 21 in 2 of my books. So when I came to America, yay, dream coming true, but actually it was just the beginning of a series of what I call hero's journey stories. There were lots of challenges and hardships. I didn't speak any English. I didn't have any professional qualifications, and I was hungry, sometimes literally. I had to survive. And working low-end jobs, like any job that I could get, usually was waitressing. In the waitressing area, I knew again that I could be, do, and have more. And I didn't have any qualifications. I didn't have any skills, but I had a passion for inspiring people to defy their circumstances, to refuse to settle for less, because that was my story. So in other words, I didn't have anything but the story, how I changed my life around, how I managed to bring my impossible dream to life, and how I was living the dream. Yes, I was working hard, but when I bought my first car at the age of 22, I think I was, which to most people, like, what is she talking about? A car is just a necessity. No, in our country, that was a luxury, and a pure luxury. Like, imagine the collapse of Soviet Union in the 90s, the country is in crisis. So it was pure luxury. And when I got it, I was like, oh my God, I can do things. I can make my destiny. So I started owning those messages, those little stories, and I started sharing them among groups, different. First, it was all free. And then I started getting noticed. I started getting being invited to other groups and companies. And little by little, I started calling myself a motivational speaker. And then I started picking up some people who wanted one-to-one time with me. And all of a sudden, I started coaching people. And then I decided to get a bit more serious about that. So I got coaching certification. I joined the program. And as they say, the rest is history. So that's what brought me. I believe that the key to identifying what makes us unique, no matter the service we provide, it doesn't matter what you do, in what business you provide, is rooted in our story. Our story is our differentiator. So that's because, you're a coach, Vincent, you're a speaker, you're an investor, but there are millions of other people who provide similar or even the same kind of services, right? But what you do is different. And what I do is different, because what makes our service and our impact different is our personality. How do we express our personality? Through our stories. How do we connect with other people? Through the stories that open up hearts, engage minds, and really compel behavior. So I can talk for a long time about that, but you just guide me through what's next.
We have time to talk, so that's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. And so when you have, let's say, some client either on a one-to-one basis, or you doing from in the masterminds levels, what will be the steps in order for people to find out what is their genius in their story? Like, if they don't know, they might are trying to succeed in their business, or they didn't start it yet, or they want to change something like you did. You moved to a different country, you were very young, and you really changed your life through stories. So what will be a few things you can share with someone? How can they find their own genius, like you described?
Yeah. Well, there are so many things that have to be in place, and there is a lot of it's a journey, it's a process. But I would say, like, if someone is thinking about taking their genius to the world, and helping people in the capacity of like life coaching or life consultancy, because that's my niche, that's the clients I work with. The three things that they need to focus their attention on, and find real understanding and clarity around those three things. So what are those are usually questions. So the first question is, who am I? What makes me different? What sets me apart? Why would people want to invest in me? Because a lot of people start with like a lot of coaching program starts like, okay, find the need and provide the solution. I think it's a little bit of limiting perspective, because you can literally sell anything in the world. And I've seen it in the coaching space, in the business space, in life. The problem is that you need to create a great story, an investable story around it. And how do you do that? Is you express why people want to invest in you. Unless you sell a product, then you have to craft a story around that product. But if you are selling your impact and your influence, you need to be very crystal clear what makes you unique, what sets you apart. Like, how are you different? Why people need to give their most precious time, asset, which is time, to you, even to listen to how you can help them. There is that clarity around these questions. The second pillar is around contribution. How exactly can I contribute to the people? In other words, how do I articulate the value I provide? Because it's not enough to just have something to say, to have some inspirational message. It's not enough. You need to have something to say that other people would want to hear. So from that respect, so once you clarify, your genius, who you are, what sets you apart, you can look at the market and the gaps that exist in the market space. And then you can merge your genius with that gap to make sure that you resonate with the right person. And that's where, we do quite a bit of work around, client avatar, the audience, how to really craft your proposition in a way that makes sense to people. Because it's not just about the templates. I help, accountants increase their profit. That's dry and boring. Everybody else does that. Like, what's beyond that? What makes you an investable coach or expert that people would say, yes, it makes sense? That's a little bit different, even though it's not, but the way you say it is different. So the contribution aspect is the second pillar. And the third pillar is the reward. So the question here is, what is my system? How robust is my system to attract, connect, and transform my clients' results? A lot of people are just running from pillar to post. They invest in one strategy and then it doesn't work. They do a little bit of work and it doesn't work. And they jump into the next one. And then there is AI and all of that. It just makes me laugh that any real tactics and tools, they change. Yeah. But the principles and human psychology, they remain the same. And a lot of people ignore that, and they're just like jumping on the bandwagon of tools and different tactics, techniques, systems, all of that, but only to discover that it kind of crushes at the end because there is no foundation. And the foundation is, really what is it that you offer, what your value is, how exactly it can help, and what are you doing to bring it to the right people, the right message to the right market at the right time. Now, time is always now. The right time is always now. Whether it's the right time for your audience or not, that's a different question. But for you, it's always now. But the right message and the right market. And it's very simple, no matter the complexity of the technology world and the competition on the market, but a lot of people, they just get stuck at so many, they do the same thing and they create noise, and it doesn't always work. Most of the time it doesn't work. So those are the three pillars, but I also like it's about like once people clarify the contribution, the clarity around their message and their uniqueness, what sets them apart, and then the reward aspect. So it's actually a monetizable pathway. And there is an exchange of value. They then, like, the fun work begins. Like, how do they connect with the right people? But in order to connect with the right people and to transition from unknown to being relevant, you have to be connected with yourself. And a lot of people don't own their greatness. They let the inner voice, oh, I'm not good enough. Usually it's not good enough voice that gets in the way. And they become, their worst enemies. So a lot of work, a big part of my contribution to the clients I work with is around connecting with your genius. As simple as that. If you don't own it, if you let the outside circumstances, if you speak to a potential client and they say no, and you begin to doubt, oh, maybe it's not that good because they said no, or you have some experience that someone criticizes you. There are lots of negative people out there, and it's their journey. And if you let it get to you, you're not connected with your value. And some people might say, oh, no, I am. But if they let it define the impact, their emotional state, there are some missing gaps between that connection. Then after the connection, there is inspiration. Like, you want to inspire people, and I'm all about like clarifying the message so people can get paid for who they are. And other people, they pay a lot of money for insight. Now, when you are able to inspire people, you can move from the noise space to the impact space. But again, it begins with you, because you are at the center of everything that happens in your life. So if you're not inspired yourself, you cannot inspire other people. And the last step is, it's not the last, but the last kind of like the next transition is the transformation. That's where the rubber meets the road. You transform your results, and your clients' results. But again, it begins with you. If you can't pour from an empty cup, your cup needs to overflow. And that's when you move from the place of being stuck to creating momentum for yourself and for your clients. Because ultimately, why do people invest in coaching and mentoring? It's because they want to reach that next level of growth, next level of development. They want to create momentum, whatever that looks like. So, and by the way, you can be stuck at 0, you can be stuck at 5 figures, you can be stuck at 6 figures, and even 7 figures. Yesterday, I spoke to one of my clients, and they're, they've just started working with me, and they're an agency in America, in Colorado. But there is this level of being stuck. You can be stuck at a 6-figure level. So that's about it. Contribution, clarity, reward, and then so you can connect with people, you can inspire them, and you can transform them. And I help people define what that looks like, so ultimately they can get paid for who they really are. Wouldn't that be a lovely place if we all could do that? There wouldn't be wars. There wouldn't be conflicts. There would be just value exchange and genuine contribution. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a believe in utopia, but I would like to believe that it is possible if we can learn to tell our stories for who we really are, and help other people do the same.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you very much. I have a lot, but what I wanted to mention on what you were saying about when you were saying about a lot of people change the tactics and strategies, and it's always new. There is AI now, but there was something in before, and after people just jump from one strategy to another tactic, and they just turn, and you mentioned that the psychology and the human, they don't change as much as the tactics if they have the base. And I truly believe that, because I'm a big follower of Tony Robbins. And he's always saying like 80% of the success is psychology, and 20% of the success is the tactics and strategies, right? And sometimes even now, I just want to relate. I have some people, and I just give away some of my free online courses, and that is all the knowledge they need in order to succeed. And they're asking me, people like, why are you giving it for free? I mean, like, and I'm telling them, because the knowledge is not enough for you. The strategy is there, but it's not gonna make any difference, because the strategies and tactics are about everywhere online. You need to change something with your mindset, with something how you see things. So that's why it's for free, because you maybe can do it, but if not, we can maybe work something out. But yeah, like it's very well said, like you said, like the knowledge is not enough, the strategies, it needs to be something deeper, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I have a question, because obviously the question is kind of related a little bit to me, and when you mentioned that it's important to find yourself, but can you find yourself when you start, or is it kind of like going to a certain direction, and once you think you are here, but after you are going somewhere a little bit different because the life is changing, and maybe because you are developing yourself, so you are moving to the different directions? Because I was experiencing something similar last year. So how people can find themselves in that space, who they are?
The most important thing is knowing who you really are. So what I mean by that is the outside circumstances, the phases you go through life they are transitory. They always change. But what remains the same is, who you really are and your inherent value. So a lot of people, they allow the outside circumstances define their value. And I'm talking about in this aspect, I mean, who you are philosophically, we can talk for a day at least about, what does it mean to be human, right? But in this aspect, what I'm focusing on is really understanding your story, your past as your platform, because a lot of people struggle to connect with the right audience because they are looking outside of themselves. So your past is your platform, your present is your engine. What are you doing about it? And your future is your motivation. Where do you want to go? So who are you is really like, are you even aware of your inherent value that is not defined by how much money you make, by the success you have had, by the achievements you have created, but really who are you? What do you take credit for? Like if people, the thing is that people invest in people, okay? So if a person is not certain within themselves, it does not have that inner certainty anchor, as I call it, no matter the tools and the tactics and the amount of work outside they will put to, let's say, in the business concept to grow their business, there is always going to be something that will sabotage their success, because they will always get in their way. So it's that very strong self-image. How do you define yourself? How do you show up? And it actually transpires in the way you communicate your value, in the way you interact with your audience, in the way you convert your audience into clients. People feel the energy. They cannot always explain what's happening, but intuitively and energetically, they connect with how connected are you with your value. And that's what I mean by, who are you? Like I was, when I was a server, I never described myself as just being a waitress, because that's not who I was. That was the job that I did at that point. When I was, now I say when people are asking me, who are you? Well, I say I'm a storyteller because there is so much meaning to that concept, to that word. And or maybe I am a genius extractor in other contexts. I love seeing those gems that people are not aware of within them and kind of like extracting it and, allowing them to see and embrace that. But it's so important to recognize it. So it comes back to your ownership of genius. Really, who are you is about ownership of your genius. And some people might say, well, I'm not Einstein and I'm not like this, I don't know, inventor or even like Elon Musk, the modern figures, or even Tony Robbins. You can say that he is a genius, but we all are. A lot of people are just so disconnected from that. And it's not an arrogant notion. There are lots of charlatans out there. I'm aware that, don't know anything and they pretend to be someone, but they're just lost and it's their journey and it's okay. But the genius is the ownership of your inherent value. And if you're in touch with that, like everything you do, it doesn't really matter what marketing tactic or system or process you follow. You're going to be successful because it's who you are, and people will be attracted to your personality rather more than your service. Yes, your service is important. It's got to be there, but people don't buy, especially in this coaching, consulting, mentoring space. People don't buy just on the promise. I certainly don't. I invest a lot of money in my personal and professional development, but I don't invest in just the program. If I resonate with a person, the leader, then I make a decision. But I don't just buy purely on the promise, because it's usually like, you can Google it. But we need support. We need support and we need guidance from someone we can trust. How do you allow people to trust you? Well, they need to connect with who you are, your personality, again, your story.
Imagine people buy something from you as a coach and they'll buy your coaching and you're like, first session, like, okay, what do you want? You got me. That's all what you got.
No, there is a process.
It's no product. It's just me, you buying from me.
Well, no, that's actually what makes them make a decision. What helps them make a decision. But of course, they can't just like, oh yeah, let's have a chat. Let's talk about kittens and puppies.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but there's got to be a program. But the problem is, no, it's okay. The problem is that people they have amazing programs. They have amazing value, but they are not making that impact as to the degree they should, because there is no that connection at the front end. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I have to say that I have made that. I mean, mistake is supposed to happen, but I have bought some training in the past, and the training was okay. I learned definitely things which helped me, but I didn't really resonate with that person at the start when I was sold that training to. I didn't really click with that person, but he was very persuasive, and that did really help my business and whatever. So I did invest large money into that, and even though I learned something and it took me somewhere else, I'm not saying that no, but the thing is, I'm not continuing and doing anything with that person. Even if I could still go there. It's just because we have a totally different values and we don't resonate to each other. And so I think sometimes it's better to have someone, maybe they don't need to know that much, even if they know less, but if you can resonate with them, I think that the relationship can go and be much stronger in the long run, and you can, achieve even more with that person than someone who doesn't really care about you.
Absolutely. Well, and it's also about why do we invest with other people? Because we want accountability, we want support, we want guidance.
Yeah.
That we don't invest on the tools alone, on like the tactics and the systems and the processes, because everything is Googleable. I mean, a lot of people, you can Google how to, from anything really, and you can get it free, but most people don't do it because there is no clearly outlined process of the steps, also support, accountability. And that's why the coaching industry is $1 billion industry, and it's exponentially growing. It's the fastest growing industry after IT, if not the fastest lately.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you mentioned that you are obviously helping coaches, also you mentioned some agency from USA, you are taking them to that next level, and it doesn't matter what the level is, because there's always the next level, which I understand. So what is the next level for you then? What is it you want to, where you see yourself in the future?
That's a good question. The next level, I am at a stage of embracing one of the roles that I had when I lived in America for 8 years before I moved to the UK, of being a speaker. So I have spoken a lot in America, and I continue to speak, but my vision is to speak in front of large audiences of the people who want to be there. Of the people who are invested. So what I mean by that, I don't want to speak in front of corporate audiences who have to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like my husband had a corporate background, and he was working, his first coaching business was working with big corporations in the UK, in London. And there is nothing worse than speaking in front of an audience that doesn't want to be there, and they just like they have to. I had that experience once in Spain, and it was really, people just don't get that idea, because they are so closed off and they live in their own world. For the sake of a better word, full of negativity, and just like, oh yeah, you're different, you're young, your circumstances were different. No, everybody's circumstances are different, but it's what you do with them. So I would love to share my message, my genius, and the power of storytelling to be able to inspire people on a large scale. So I would like to speak in front of big audiences. That's my vision. Whether it is people who come into our world, our coaching academy, we do hold trainings in the UK, and we're planning to do it in the States, the first one after COVID. So but it's more intimate settings, like up to 30 people, because it's a very high-end boutique style. But I love audiences. So that's my vision, to be able to share my message with as many people as possible.
Have you, because I know obviously you traveled a lot to USA, so do you follow Tony Robbins? Have you been on any of his events?
I started my personal growth journey with UPW, Unleash Your Power Within, back in 2013.
This is kind of what you are talking about.
Well, yes, that would be awesome, of course. But 1,000 people would be good. Yeah, that's Tony Robbins is great. He's excellent for those who just begin their personal growth journey, and they are looking for something more. I think I'm past that stage, not to be sound like disrespectful. He is a brilliant, and when I grow up, I want to be like him in terms of business acumen. I mean, he's phenomenal. But in terms of the value, it's kind of like I have done that, and I want to believe that I do live that stuff. So right now, when I invest into something like quite, specific and targeted, that will allow me to hone my skills, whether it's in storytelling. I invested, believe it or not, I invested in a lot of courses or programs that help me with my storytelling and connection and business building. So it's a bit more niched, but those crowds, I mean, it's kind of like catering for the masses. It can help literally everybody. And I hope it does, but a lot of people, they don't realize that they come into the event and they get like rah pump, they get motivated, and then they get home and life goes back to the way it was before, because there is no process to go through to make a change, to create that transformation. And a lot of people, they go back to their default settings and nothing really changes. So yeah, that's those events are great as an entry point, but if you really want to do something about it, you have to dedicate your time to it.
That's why it's very important. I mean, at least I see it. It's having someone who can help you on the weekly or 2-weekly basis, whatever, the coaching, mentoring, or even just a friend who can be there for you. Because I've been on a lot of different events, property related, business related, and there is lots of people coming. I'm not saying thousands, but let's say 200. I know about one event which is every month, 200 people all the time on this one event, and always new people. But after from this 200 people, maybe 5-10 people, they actually do it. And the rest, they just don't, because they got the knowledge, they get the pump over these 4 days. But after they get to Monday and they're like, what shall I do? And they might try for a week or two, but if they don't have that accountability partner, they don't have anybody who can help them and lead them to that direction, they very easily just go back to the ways they've been and just wasted money basically and time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be investment, and change is uncomfortable. You've got to exit your comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
It's not, if you want to create something you've never created before, you've got to be willing to do something you've never done before.
Yeah.
It's and most people don't want to do it. I mean, they try to do it first, first, second, maybe third time, and they experience some temporary defeats or some failures. Like, oh, it doesn't work, so they go back. But you have to fail through. You have to keep going, keep pushing. So that's
great. So just last thing what I would like to ask you. So if that would be, I know you already mentioned so many things, especially obviously for someone who is, because you're mainly helping coaches to find that through I don't know how to say it, find themselves.
Well, it's more than that. It's actually like how can they monetize, get paid for who they are? Because it's about articulating the promise. It's about defining your message, and also making sure that it's something that the market wants, because it's there is no business, there is no dynamic of value exchange if that is not clarified. So yes, it's not just about finding yourself. Finding yourself is the least you can do, but it's nowhere near enough.
Absolutely. No, I mean, with that, it's definitely, I can see like there are some people they charge for coaching 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. So why these people charge that much? I mean, there will be differences in experiences, but also it's like if they know their own value, it's really important. And I think this is something where you help people with also, right? With when it comes to monetizing, because when they know what they can offer, so they can also get paid more, right?
And it's also like track record, proven results. I mean, I would never say that, you start your coaching and you charge $10,000, first of all, or pounds or whatever currency it is. First of all, you're not going to sell it because you're not going to believe into it. And second of all, you don't really, have a track record that it works. Like you can really help people. It's not about ripping people off. It's about really genuinely helping people. And if you're not sure, you've got to do some test drives, and then But ultimately, pricing is there is this energy around pricing. You've got to do what feels right for you. There are lots of models of premium pricing, positioning, and kind of boutique experience, and there is psychology behind that, and it does work. That model works. There is a low-end kind of offering ticket pricing, which usually plays on the numbers game, and it does work. Ultimately, you've got to choose what it is that you want to do, what aligns with you. How do you want to structure your deliverable? What do you want to play the numbers game and kind of like not go really deep? Because the more people pay, the more they expect you to go really like deep and intimate with them. And I mean, like, you know, working down the deep layers of their consciousness. It's all about, you know, your consciousness and what you like, your thinking, your mindset, and going within, really. Even if it's a business setting, like there are tools, like I said, tools and tactics. You can Google them, you can watch YouTube videos, you can get equipped. But why most people don't do it? Because there is something on the inside that stops them, or there is something that, you know, that is lacking. So it just depends on how you want to run your business and your life. Do you want to play the numbers game, or do you want to work with, instead of working like, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 people, do you want to work with just 2 people, but really go, I mean, the offer and the value needs to be more valuable. So, for example, you can fly an airplane in a economy class, or you can fly in upper class. Both ways will take you to the destination, but it just depends how much money you want to spend. You know, the economy class or the upper class with a bit extra service, more attention, more care, more champagne, whatever the case might be. So all of these, like, and the premium pricing position. So, for example, we do some of our offers is premium pricing, but when our clients come to us, like when they travel across the world, we have people from New Zealand, we have people from America, you know, South Africa, Europe, Canada. So they literally come from all over the world, and they come in for the experience. So it's so much more than just equipment and training they receive from us. It's also about the experience. You know, we have this beautiful dinner, we have musicians, and people are happy to pay for that, and they keep coming time and time again. So it depends on you, because I believe that I believe in the philosophy of building business that puts you in the heart and center. Because if you don't enjoy it, what's the point? You might just go and get a job and, you know, have that security of a paycheck. But if you want to take risks, and if you're willing to exit your comfort zone and do something different, you might as well craft it in a way that will make sense to you, and it will bring you fun and fulfillment and worthwhile. So you have to check in. And this is what I mean. It comes back to like understanding who you are, where you want to be, where you are now, and what you want to do about your life, because life is fleeting. It goes by so fast. So, you know, the only thing you can't get back is time. Money is relevant. It really is. You can always find a way. I mean, there are, there is always ways.
It's amazing, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I don't need to even ask you any more questions, because you already said so much, and I really like.
I like talking, huh? You need to shut me up, Vincent.
No. I think we need to do it again, another episode, because obviously this will be for longer, and it's very nice to be chatting with you. I really like when you said it's like, you know, you create that experience. I'm really now intrigued to come to do your experience. I'm like, what's going on? And you gave me an idea, like you said, about playing and champagne and the musicians, and I'm just learning playing on piano.
There you go.
So see, I need to kind of speed up the learning process, and after I need to up my prices. Like, you come on my event, you know, I'll be playing for you.
Well, you want to do that. You can't do everything yourself, Vincent.
I know.
You need to hire people who will be able to do it for you, because and you need to be the main man on the door if you want to create those retreats or whatever the high-end experience. But it is possible. It is possible.
I'm actually I'm actually starting with something. I was doing something before, but it was more about passing the knowledge, but also it was about some experience with those people who've been there. But now I'm trying to kind of, you know, take it to the next level. So one of the things what I'm doing for my paying clients who are on the maximum coaching what I offer. So we are actually having next month a mastermind. Is the first mastermind I'm doing for those people. So to bring them together, and actually I'm inviting someone to do some exercises with us, something which is spiritual, and that will be great. Yeah, and I really enjoy those processes. I'm already thinking like where the mastermind will be next year. I'm thinking like we need to do abroad, we need to do a retreat, we need to do something, because I want to also enjoy more of the things with the people, create the experience, because I think it's very important for people to really get, when they get the emotion, they'll remember more and they'll do it more. So yeah.
Stories make things and events stick. This is what I call the stickability factor. Like when you share a story, I mean, I will remember you, Vincent, because you are from Czech Republic, and you live in Scotland, and you have unique personality. You have an accent, and I believe that our accents. I have an accent as well. That's our assets. That's what makes us stand out. How I would actually love to learn more about your hero's journey. What brought you to the path you're currently walking? Like what is it that you do, and why you do it? Because you obviously have, like, based on what I can see, you're a speaker, a coach, investor, you help people in some capacity. But why did you come to this path, and why people should pick you? What makes you? What's your story? So, but probably for another time.
Yeah. Now we need to have another Zoom meeting, and we need to chat more. So yeah, I'll wrap it up. Thank you very much for all the amazing insights, especially for people like me, like coaches. I think it was very insightful, and I have learned so much from you. And that's why I love doing those interviews, because it's not like also the listeners learn, but I always learn so much. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed it as well. It's been great time. Great hour almost.